I give you everything. I give you all the best things. I give you the best oil. I give you the best tires. Well, I guess we know which way it goes on. That did not work out very well. Hey guys, it's Flashwing again, back out here in the garage today, and we've got a lot going on today. I want to introduce the Scorpio Ride Now control console, and this is apparently a very new product from Scorpio that competes with a lot of the other GPS location devices for modern sport bikes and cruisers as well. It's for any motorcycle really. So because it's new, there's not a lot of reviews about it, and there's definitely not any real videos showing this thing in action with the exception of some of the stuff Scorpio's provided. So I definitely wanted to show this to you guys. Now, I'm going to tell you guys why I got this, because those of you who are on my Facebook page or have followed some of my other forms of social media may be confused about why I'm buying another GPS module. This is the unit provided by Kryptonite. This is their real-time tracking device. I don't want to bag on anybody too much here, but I've been disappointed with this unit. I've had some technical problems with it. I've had some problems with the actual software. I have tried to contact Kryptonite. I have not gotten a response. But to be perfectly honest, I've been disappointed in the functionality, the response time of things that have been happening, and they do advertise somewhat similar features to the Scorpio unit. Unfortunately, the response time is something that's really important, especially being here in Arizona, because anything that is stolen from Phoenix, this is a really big hotbed of car theft and motorcycle theft, and if it's not stripped here in the city, within a few hours it's across the border into Mexico. So if I can't find out immediately that my vehicle has been taken, the device is useless to me. Now, the Scorpio provides a lot of other social media features that the Kryptonite unit does not, and I'll probably refer to that unit a couple of times because they are almost identical in price. But the functions of the Scorpio are a little bit different, and is the subscription cost. Now, first of all, the Kryptonite unit and the Scorpio unit, as you see it here, which includes something additional to the ride control, was $300. Little extra for shipping and tax, because apparently one of the companies that provided it to me is here in Phoenix. The Scorpio unit I also got for $300 on Amazon. Subscription cost with Kryptonite's unit is included for the first year, and then every year after that is $34.95. The Scorpio unit, if you live in the continental United States, I believe the subscription cost is $10. If you go for $11, that'll include Canada, and I think maybe portions of Mexico and South America. And then it's, I think, $12 if you live internationally. So higher subscription cost, equivalent cost for the unit as it's equipped here. Actually, if you buy just the ride unit itself, it's actually less expensive. But I'll get into some of the more basic features. I am very excited about this, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll introduce this box in a minute. I have already opened this, so I do apologize, and I'll explain why here in just a moment. So, first of all, very well packaged. I was very impressed with the presentation of the package. Not that that really is anything super important, but the fit and finish of this, even out of the box, is very impressive. They do provide an instruction booklet for you that gives you some basic information on activation, which is part of the reason why I opened this box earlier, as well as the basics. Now, this is a 3-wire system, meaning that it simply needs a constant power, constant ground, and a switched power wire only to function, which means that wiring the device in as it is, very simple. So the main components of the unit you're going to see here are the actual control box, which, I mean, comparative to an iPhone 5, that is the size of the device. So you can see it's actually very compact and very small, since space inside of a sport bike especially is very much at a premium. And then we have all of our wiring. Now, something to note too, again, want to compare a couple of units here just so you can see. The Kryptonite unit has both the GPS and the cellular device all located in one device. Okay, it's just one box. What I like about the Scorpio unit is that we open this sucker up here. The actual GPS antenna is a separate device, and it's magnetic. It's actually very magnetic. They do provide a sticker if you want to use that, but it will adhere to all metal objects, obviously, that are magnetic, which is a big plus because, of course, you always want GPS to have line of sight to the sky for the best signal and the quickest acquisition. And then you actually have the harness itself, which again, 3 wires. You have constant power, constant ground, constant power, and then switched power. And then that plugs into the console. It is already fused, which is a plus. And folks, that's it. All right. So, fun with wires. So basically what we're going to be doing today is at first setting up the switched power source. Of course, we don't have the ends over here. So they do it in kind of an interesting way in that as opposed to a typical vampire clip, you basically have got a pointed end at the end of a cylinder. And so all we're going to end up doing here is tapping into the light that's back here for the license plate. And it's this white wire here. And so you're going to end up placing the top of the end on the actual wire. And of course it's got a cutout area for the wire itself. And you got a pointed end that's actually going to penetrate the wire. Penetrate. And then make the connection. Hook up to the negative. Okay. And we're good. So obviously here we can see that we got switched power when the bike is on. We have nothing when the bike is off, which is exactly what we wanted. All right. So we're wrapped up with the installation, and I'm actually already getting firmware updates are complete. We'll go over a lot of that later. So we've already wrapped up the installation. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, considering the fact that every install is going to be different for every type of bike. But again, 3-wire system, you've got switch power in the back, and then you've got connections to the battery itself for primary power. There's a lot of different aspects of the setup that I'll go over later, but I just basically wanted to show you guys a couple of key components. One, we've got the GPS sensor located externally on the outside of the bike. This is probably the best location that we were able to determine that had good cord length, and it was someplace that was actually had line of sight to the sky. And then of course for the actual module itself, located underneath the seat, that's going to be the best place for the cell signal and also for the shock detection that the device has as well. We've already rolled it back a couple times, and I got notifications probably within about 15 to 30 seconds of the bike either being tilted or moved, so I'll demonstrate a lot of that later. But the installation is pretty straightforward. So we're going to kind of clean up some of the wiring in here, get everything back on the bike, and then I'll come back and demonstrate some of the features of the actual device in a little bit.
So what's it like to live with the device? It's very easy to use. The installation was really smooth. The programming is a little fussy because you have to do all the programming on the box itself. Living with the unit is actually really simple. The programming takes takes a little bit to do, and it has to be done on the unit itself. About the only thing that you end up really programming is the shock sensor sensitivity, and once that's done, you're kind of set. I do know that I have to turn the sensitivity down. I work near an airport, and I believe that the overhead jets actually were setting off the shock alarm. Either that or a real strong wind was doing it. So, there's basically 2 modes that you operate in. There's a passive mode, and then there's an early warning mode. The passive mode is pretty much what it sounds like, where the unit will draw a 500-foot circle around your bike and is a geofence, and then if it leaves that fence, it will alert you. But that's the only real monitoring that it does in passive mode. If you turn on what they call the early warning mode, then it uses the onboard shock and tilt sensor, as well as monitoring for ignition, and it will send you alerts if the bike is stood upright for a period of time. It will alert you if the unit senses a shock to the box, and then if it senses switched power turning on, it will alert you. That's probably the only slightly annoying thing, is I get an alert when I put my own key in and start the bike. I get an ignition alarm, but at the same time, I'd rather know, you know, than not know. So I think that's a compromise. In terms of the unit response time, in some cases when the unit is awake, because the unit does have a sleep mode, when the unit is awake, I've had it report alerts almost instantaneously. Within 10 to 15 seconds, I've gotten a notification on my phone. When the unit is asleep, sometimes they will take up to a minute to reach you, but you still get them very fast. Now, the major difference between this and the Kryptonite unit is the Scorpio unit has a monthly service charge of 10 bucks. I think if you're in Canada, it's 11, and then if you're international, it's 12. But frankly, I find that to be a small price to pay for a little bit of peace of mind that if anything happens to the bike, I can locate it, and if anybody messes with the bike when I turn on the early warning system, I'm going to know about it, and I could you know, do something about it, whether it be call the police or just go out and check on the bike myself. But they've got some social media features that are built into it as well. Every time I start the bike and go out for a ride, the unit records where I go, because of course it's got GPS positioning. It records, you know, my speed, it records my entire route, and if I want, I can post that route information on Twitter or Facebook, and you have the option of actually playing it back through Google Earth, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if it's just more of a novelty more than serving any kind of real purpose, but your friends can see the route that you took, and if you went a certain way that, you know, your friends have never gone before, you can show them on the map, and they can kind of get a sense of what it looks like. But it's kind of fun to show route information, or if you're traveling. In addition to that, some of the geofence features are pretty nice. You can add additional contact information in addition to yourself on geofences and just overall alerts. So, as an example, you know, if I wanted to include a geofence for all of Arizona, and I wanted to, you know, have it ring multiple numbers or SMS or email multiple locations, I could do that. If you're going to be traveling and you wanted your friends to be automatically alerted when you were in certain locations, like if you're you know, nearby, like if I had friends up in Prescott Valley and I wanted them to know, you know, anytime I was in Prescott Valley, I could have an SMS set up so when I got into a certain area that they would be messaged. So it's really versatile, and it serves a lot of different purposes. Definitely worth the money. I'm very happy that I invested the money into it. I don't like buying things twice, but I'm very, very happy with this unit. So that's it today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review and the installation. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review, and we will see you out there.